Okie dokie. I got a text about almost 20 minutes ago, if not 20 minutes ago, from Mike saying that he is ready to go even early, and that never happens. So, let's go ahead and see how true that is.
Hello.
Hello.
What up?
You're not going to answer and tell me to hold on?
No, I'm ready.
Get out of here.
I'm here.
Is that just because the cosmos are all aligned?
I guess so, yeah.
That's great.
I know, I've had a weird evening. Like, not really weird, just weird to me. I've literally, been holed up in my hotel room, like, Hunter Thompson style, dude. Like, I don't think I've left since 3 o'clock this afternoon. Like, I literally came home from work, went up here, and just fucking chain smoked until I fell asleep, and then just fucking woke up an hour ago, and I was like, what the fuck's happening?
You've just been sleeping?
And chain smoking.
Well, yeah.
At the same time, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Well.
I know. I think I'm so, pumped about being able to smoke inside again that, I don't know what to do with myself.
Oh, that's true. I guess that's been gone for a while, huh?
Yeah, I feel really fancy, sitting in a fancier hotel just smoking with the cigarettes. But, yeah, man, life's good. What can I say?
Good.
Life is good.
Well, do you want to give actually let's start with a rundown, right? So obviously, welcome in. This is another episode of Stuff You Wouldn't Say Out Loud. And there is one small update, right? So also, as everyone knows or should know who listens, we have an email address.
We do.
People can reach out to us.
That's correct.
And now, there's also, from my understanding, from screenshots sent to me, there's also a Twitter.
It is.
A tweeter.
It is now a tweeter. We're now tweeting.
Holy shit.
Tweeting live.
Is there tweet?
Yeah,
has tweeting happened, or?
No, we have not tweeted.
Okay.
Perhaps we'll tweet to signify tomorrow's, or this episode coming out, which will come out for us tomorrow.
For us tomorrow.
For you, it'll
for
just
you.
be happening.
Yeah, for you, whenever you're listening.
So as you're listening to this, there very well may be a tweet on its way to your ears and to your phone screen.
Can you share how people would find this account?
Yeah, you can tweet us at SYWSOL. That simple.
It's that simple, folks. Just fucking do it.
Do it.
God damn it. I'm tired of begging.
Beggars can't be beggars, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way because this is an exciting episode for us.
I'm pretty stoked about it.
It's going to be one of many.
Probably, yeah.
And, yeah, probably. We won't do them all in a row or anything like that. We will space them apart. We'll try to, but it's a good one for us because this episode is all about aliens. We can even throw, obviously, conspiracy theories in there because it kind of goes hand in hand. And,
Sure.
I think it's safe to say that Mike and myself, we have no doubt that aliens are real. But
yeah, I think we're unified on that front. Yeah,
we're gonna do our best to play devil's advocate when we can.
Sure.
But
we're gonna pretend that they're not.
Right,
but all you normies out there.
But with that saying, if you don't think aliens are real, you're probably a stupid shithead. But
you're a dipshit. You're not as woke as us if you don't get it.
No. I mean, not many people are, you know. That's probably one of the douchiest things I ever said. Well, you know, not a lot of people are as woke as me.
Dude, I just woke like literally an hour ago, so I'm pretty woke.
Freshly woke, bruh.
It's 10 o'clock at night and just woke an hour ago, yeah.
Freshly woke. Are you going to be able to just go back to bed?
Well, I'm going to try to knock myself out with tranquilizers is my plan.
So just going full Hunter S. Thompson.
I'm going full Hunter S. Thompson.
Do you think Hunter S. Thompson went by Hunter S. Thompson, or he just went by Hunter Thompson?
He probably, like, required the S just because he was a dickhead, and I could see him doing that.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
It's interesting.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've watched enough interviews, I should know this, but I feel like every time he's announced as Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, but he also mumbles his way through everything, so, like, how are you supposed to actually, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's got to be dictation of it. Like, that's pretty much the only way to know what he's actually saying. Yeah, analyze the tapes.
Gotta analyze the tapes. Well, we went to a lip reading master, and they have not a fucking clue.
Right, yeah, no idea.
They have no clue how other words are coming out, because based on the lips, it just looks like...
Yeah, dude, but he was the bee's knees, man, I'll tell you what.
No doubt.
I just named my new dog after him, actually. My dog's name is Hunter after him. So. I think I told you once before, but I have a signed copy of Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, you did.
Like,
you did.
Yeah. Super big fan of Hunter Thompson, yeah, for sure.
It's Hunter S. Thompson.
It's the S. Excuse me. Yeah, please. The S.
So I not long ago, a couple days ago, and this is kind of how this whole alien thing sparked between you and I. Also alien talk like between you and I went back to like Carl Sagan. You know what I like?
Oh yeah. This
goes back to like I don't know when we were getting shitty together way back when. We always said, feel connected to the cosmos and that sort of thing, you know?
Sure. We used to call, like, when we would go and smoke weed in the car, like, our code word so people wouldn't know what we were talking about was we would say we were going alien hunting.
Alien hunting. Oh, my God, I forgot about that.
Yes, dude. We'd drive around. And we would kind of pretend to watch out for aliens, but mostly we would just be smoking. We
would just be getting high.
It's on backcountry roads.
But it was the backcountry roads. And, yeah, I mean, it was clear skies. Like, we should have looked up every once in a while. We were just too fucking stoned and stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I saw an alien once, dude, but I will come back to that.
I'd love to hear that story.
This was a nighttime drive. Okay, so real quick, this is something that I was thinking about the other day, and I want to see if you remember it. Do you remember our friend, and I think I can say his first name, because I don't think this is going to, do anything, but do you remember our friend Davey?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember the time that Davey came over to the house where we were, living in, the band house, and was, freaking out because he saw something cross the road?
Yes!
It's a goat man, dude.
A goat man.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I do remember that.
Dude, and this was at the same time that our friend Floyd was he had just shared a story with us about his mom would go for weeks at a time with this goat man in the woods. She was like a Wiccan, dude.
Holy shit. Yes.
Dude. We had this weird shit happen to us, but dude, I'll tell you what, he was legitimately concerned that night. And I just thought about it the other day.
He was shook.
He was shook to his core, dude.
Oh man, I remember that. Because he always had this really high energy personality, and like the high energy was still there, but it was coming out a different way. You know, it was like he was like,
yeah, dude,
he was pale.
He seemed mortified.
He you know, there was a lot of like, you know, just obviously a lot of drinking, but like just not him, not at that time, but we were drinking and just throughout the night, and like throughout the night, like while drinking, we would just like every couple hours like check back in, like yeah, but like that was a lie, right? And he's still like, fuck no, it's not a lie.
Dude, his description of like the events was just the greatest thing ever. Like him like doing he did like a depiction of it like trotting into the road, and it just looked at him and it like snorted like at him and then walked across the road.
Yeah.
Dude, like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, it's so good, so fucking good. Oh man,
boy, oh boy, holy shit!
I'm telling you what, the woods of the place where we grew up in, which I want to say where it is, but I can't. Like there was some spooky stuff happening in those woods, dude.
Absolutely.
There was some weird, unexplainable things happening.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just because we were wildly fucked up on drugs. I think it was also there was just weird shit happening. Probably. Like, okay, if I'm a ghoul, right? If I'm a ghost, I'm a ghoul, I'm a specter, and I see some kids fucked up.
Right.
You're telling me you're not going to go fuck with those kids that are fucked up?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what mood I'm in.
If I'm a ghoul, I'm going to do it. Okay, so we had a great debate.
You know what? Ghouls have feelings too.
Okay, speaking of ghoul feelings, we had a great debate in class today. I want you to weigh in on this.
Oh, fuck.
So we were talking, because you know I never talk about anything like actual related to like subject matter in class, dude.
Right. Right. No, you're an amazing teacher.
About what like a slang term for like ghost would be. Like if you wanted to call a ghost something to offend it, what would be like
to offend
like
it?
Yeah, so like would you call it like I think ghoul. Like that just sounds offensive.
I don't think that sounds offensive. I feel like ghoul is like, what's up, my ghoul?
Okay, so that's more of like a homie term.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I feel like that's like respect. You're putting respect on it.
But not like specter, phantom.
No, I mean I think the one to like really piss him off is like, hey, what's up, Casper?
Oh, okay, all right.
You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like really, like just like.
Yeah, Casper, dude. I didn't even think about that. Dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back to class tomorrow with an updated list.
Yeah.
Like I got it. It's Casper. We settled it. The score's been settled.
Yeah, I think that's an easy
I don't
one.
know. I still really like calling things ghouls. I like ghosts are just such a. Like it's all right saying ghosts, but there's so many other cool names you can call. Spirits. Do you remember this? Okay, here's another callback. Do you remember our Italian friend we referenced in a previous episode?
I know who you're talking about.
His cousin had a book called The Spirits' Guide to like spirits.
No, I don't remember this book.
Dude, he had this old book from like the 1800s he brought over once, because you know he was all into that meta shit, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? So he's actually the one, and this is the cousin. He supplied us for a short time with wormwood.
With wormwood, he's the first time that I actually like got fucked on salvia divinorum, dude.
Yeah.
That shit was insane.
Yeah.
That was one of the strongest psychedelic experiences. That's like up there with like dimethyltryptamine for me. Like, dude, salvia is nothing to fuck around with, dude. That shit will fucking turn your world inside out.
Right, and that's like, you know, you can buy whatever at a head shop, but when you get...
Used to. I don't think anymore you can, but used to, yeah.
You used to. Oh, okay, that's true. Can you not anymore?
Yeah. I don't think you can. Yeah, no, I don't think you can. Wow. I think they nixed that, yeah.
It's probably a good move.
Well, there's all these videos. There's like literally, and like when it like got popular, there was a bajillion videos on YouTube popping up of just people like fucking like jumping out of windows and like rolling around on the ground and fucking like yeah. Because it's a pretty intense psychedelic. It's pretty pretty hardcore. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like salvaridian, like the active ingredient. Well, there's like a couple of different things. It's like salvaridian A and salvaridian B, but like both of them are active in the microgram. It's like the strongest known natural, like naturally occurring hallucinogen known to man. Like the most potent. Like, because I mean, like lysergic acid, like LSD, I should say, is more potent, but I mean it's not naturally occurring. But like as far as like the most potent naturally occurring psychedelic, salvaridian's got it for sure on lock. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, that dude had a Spirits' Guide to like being a spirit. Like it was a book written in like the 1800s about like basically like what to do in your spirit, dude. Just like what you how to maneuver the spirit realm.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't know how someone would know how to write that book.
Well, it was bound with human skin, so I would assume it was like a necromancer. I don't
buy that for a fucking second. Good try, you fucking ghoul.
Yeah, I mean, like, how did the guy market getting that book published? He's like if I was a publisher and somebody came to me with that book, that's exactly what I asked. I'd be like, yeah, but I mean, like, you're not. Yeah, but back in the 1800s, you could get away with like, the spirits has told me so.
No.
And then it's published, you just be like, yeah, sure.
No.
Dude, there was fucking snake oil fucking doctors back then. People believed all kind of dumb shit back in like the 1800s. People were dumb as fuck back then. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. They were dumb as fuck. I can't believe some of the stuff that they believed. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure they were.
Literally, they were thinking, like, you'd go to the doctor and, like, you'd be like, look, I got, this wrong with me. And they'd be like, yep, you got spirits in your blood. You got to take some cocaine for it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit they would do. Like, people are just like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Sure.
Right,
don't want spirits in the blood.
That's all. Some leeches to get it out.
Right. Yeah, just let me suck those spirits out of there. Right, exactly. Like, dude, God forbid you have a mental health disorder back then, because you were possessed for sure. Like, 100% certainty you were possessed. By Satan or one of them.
As far as the verdict goes, as far as like...
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, listen, I need to get this back on track, okay?
All right.
We're not even talking about aliens. So, a couple days ago, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and
Jerry?
And the one it was him with Jim Norton, and for some fucking reason they got into talking about aliens, and then Joe Rogan referenced a podcast he had done earlier with let me know if I say his last name correct, because it's a cool last name, but it's Bob Lazar.
Lazar, correct.
Yeah. So he did a podcast with Bob Lazar, and for any of you who don't know who Bob Lazar is, I highly recommend you look him up. I highly recommend you watch that Joe Rogan podcast, actually.
Real quick. I'm just going to intervene here. I forget. Can I tell you one time the coolest dude I ever met, like with the coolest name I ever met? His name, and this is, I'm not even fucking kidding you, dude. First name Laser, last name Tarzan. Laser Tarzan was this dude's actual name.
Get out of here.
Not kidding.
How many aliens does he know?
Dude, probably a lot. Anyways, go ahead. But Laser Tarzan, crazy shit. Go ahead.
So, Bob Lazar, and you please, Mike, add to this if I'm getting anything wrong here. But he was a propulsion kind of expert scientist. He at a young age figured out how to put a turbo, like, what is it, a jet engine in his Mustang. And that's kind of where he, like news articles were written about him, and he would drive this jet engine Mustang to work and back, like shit you could hear from a mile away. It's fucking insane. And he was just having fun, right? Like, he's just smart enough to have fun like that. And so word gets out about this, so eventually the government reaches out to him and asks him to join them at a base called S4. Now, prior to S4, where he worked, like where he was driving that to and from, I think where he was driving that to or from, or at least this is where he worked at some point before S4, and I'll get into what S4 is, but he worked at a place called Los Alamos. And
yeah.
do you have a good way of explaining what Los Alamos did, or like what they were about? Or should
Not really.
Should I look it up for
Not
better?
really.
So I'll look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Go ahead and keep going. I'll
And so he worked there, and then from there worked at S4. Now, S4 is a base in the same vicinity as Area 51. And Area 51, I mean, I don't need to get into that. You should know what the fuck that is. He went there to work at the base S4, where they had, and he explains it in the whole podcast. Again, I'm giving you a short rundown because it's all there. I highly recommend you watch him tell his story, right? And he worked on UFOs. He worked on an alien aircraft. He was assigned to one. He explains that at a time he saw that they had 9 different ones. I don't know if it was 9 different styles or just 9 of the same or what, but he saw 9. And
I would like to think it's different styles, dude. I'd like to think it's like a car lot for aliens.
You would think
like
so, but you know, who's to say?
I prefer the ZX19734. Or give me that.
Oh, so they brought him in as a propulsion expert, and so what he did is he explains that he worked on this spacecraft that was like, I think he said like 50 feet wide or something of the sort, and
yeah.
And what they did is they showed him. So he worked with one partner. The partner's name was Barry, and that's all he ever says is Barry. Prior to Bob being there was someone else. There was a different, quote unquote Bob before Bob. And so Barry was excited that Bob's starting, and Barry shows Bob kind of how this aircraft moves, like what powers it, and it's this thing called Element 115. Now this whole thing is taking place. Do you know it's either late 80s or early 90s that he is working there at S4, and they have this thing already called Element 115 that like is not made on Earth. They explained to him that this aircraft, just through some debriefing paperwork that they had him read before starting on anything, this aircraft is from, I don't even remember the galaxy. They somehow were able to say what galaxy it was from. It's just
Zeta Reticuli.
What was it?
Yeah, I think so. Zeta Reticuli.
Yeah. And so Barry shows him like, yeah, so like there's this area here, like if you look at this, like if you try and push down right there, and he would and Bob would try and push down on this area on the aircraft, and he said it worked like almost like two opposite ends of magnet, or two magnets, like you cannot get them to touch. He said that was happening with his hand trying to push down on this area. It could not fucking touch. He said that when trying, they would take these aircrafts out on kind of test flights, not him sitting in it, but someone, they would, on certain nights, they would take him up, fly around a little bit, bring it back down. Crazy fucking shit. And these are all powered by this Element 115. And Barry, kind of showed him where everything was, this and that. And he actually, so something interesting about Barry that tell me what you think, but I think, so, because Bob said that Barry often nights would spend the night at base. Okay? And that wasn't odd, because a lot of people apparently did that, because they would just work and work and work. Here's my thing. I think Barry was an alien.
I think Barry at the very bare minimum was banging an alien.
I think at S4, people like Bob did not know that they were working alongside these aliens and they were working almost as guinea pigs to show, in front of Barry's face, like, I'm trying to figure it out, and see, like, how smart we've become, like, how much we can figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't dispute that per se.
No, I'm not saying 100%. I'm just saying, like, I think that's a very intriguing take. Because...
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more likely that he's having sexual relations with one of the aliens there.
I mean, he could.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would bang an alien. You're telling me you wouldn't?
It's probably out of this world.
Dude, out of this world. You know this motherfucker was arrested twice?
Who? What?
Yeah.
Wait, say it again?
Bob Lazar was arrested twice. Did you know that?
For what?
In 1990 for aiding and abetting a prostitution ring, which was reduced to felony pandering, which he pleaded guilty to. And then in 2006, for violating the Federal Hazardous Substances Act for shipping restricted chemicals across state lines.
Now, do you feel like any of that is planting, or because for all intents and purposes here, he was like one of the original whistleblowers.
Oh, he was yeah. I mean, I would say the prostitution ring probably, because he doesn't. Well, I mean, he might like hit up some brothels. I'm not saying he doesn't, but
they're in Nevada. First of all,
where was it at?
Oh well, yeah. I guess where did he get arrested at? Because if he's in Nevada, have at it.
I'm looking at the sources here.
I just wonder how much of it, like, because also, like, that shit's, like, not very...
It looks like it was in Nevada. It's the Las Vegas Review is, like, one of the people who...
What the fuck does that matter, then?
Dude, I don't know. Shit, man. I think it's only legal in certain counties.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then apparently he was shipping some stuff.
But anyways, he he was working on this aircraft and all of that. Let's see here. Let's go back to Los Alamos for a second. Los Alamos,
New Mexico. Yeah, it was a. It's like the Los Alamos. I just had it pulled up.
It is it's creation place of the atomic bomb.
Correct. To big part of the Manhattan Project and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's where he worked. So eventually he leaves S4. Again, long story short, watch that episode of Joe Rogan. There's also now. There's a documentary out on Netflix called, if you just type in Bob Lazar, you'll find it. It's a picture of his face. It's like Bob Lazar, aliens, and UFOs, or something like that. The documentary is good just because you can get different parts of Bob, but the director, his name's Jeremy, I don't really fucking care for him because he seems to be shoving his face and his name into everything attached with Bob. Like, it's just, while Bob is doing everything, while Bob's doing everything for free, like, he's not gaining shit off of this other than, like, he feels that the general public should know. This fucking director guy is like, dude, the whole opening sequence, like 5 to 10 minutes long, is nothing but this fucking director's, like, face. It's insane. It makes no sense to me. It was disgusting, the fact that this fucking guy is just shoving his face and everything. But keep that in mind, is, like, again, just watch the Joe Rogan podcast, because even on that, nonetheless, Bob is there with fucking Jeremy, So, like, Jeremy is just trying to attach his. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's a good guy. I just didn't like that. He's shoving.
Oh, he's the same guy who did Hunt for Skinwalker. I didn't realize that was the same guy who did that documentary. Jeremy Corbell.
Yep, that's his name. Yep.
Yeah, wow. They were on Larry King, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of town. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so anyways, like...
Oh, and he did Patient 17. Dude, he's done some legit documentaries.
Jeremy?
Patient 17 is pretty good, too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he absolutely has. I just don't like that he's, like, shoving his face. Like, dude, we get it. Like, you're connected in that whole, like, truther circle. Like, you know a lot of people. Like, we fucking get it. You don't need to shove your face in every second of your own documentary. You just don't. Like...
Dude, he's a bearded son of a bitch, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a nice beard.
He does.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that guy. He seemed like kind of like I haven't watched this documentary. I've seen a couple other ones, but
again, I'm sure he's a fucking. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I just didn't like that. Like, don't call yourself a documentarian if you're gonna be a journalist. Like,
right. You kind of rubbed me the wrong way on, like, I listened to, it was a pretty long interview, probably about an hour, maybe a little over, of him on another podcast that I listened to, Hysteria 51, which is all about, like, conspiracies and all that, like, in the same vein. And he was on there, like, it's like doing an interview on there. And, yeah, I don't know, man. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way to start with. So I'm going to agree with you. He's probably a cocksucker.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not about him. It's about the aliens. And so, like, listening to Bob's interview on JRE and all of that, it's just, he doesn't sound like a kooky son of a bitch. Like, he's honest throughout. He seems honest throughout everything. If there's something that is asked of, like, did you see any aliens? Did you get to go to Area 50? Anything like that, he's like, no. Like, he's just honest. Like, no, I had to work on this one part, and, like, that was it. You didn't roam around the base. You didn't do it. Like, he was just totally honest. If I didn't know, I didn't know, and that's that. But so after S4, like, so he leaves S4 and he goes to he goes public with this knowledge, and that's where shit went downhill with him.
Yeah, man.
He he tried to tell everyone, and so ultimately they tried to hide the fact that he ever worked at Los Alamos. They tried to just discredit him left and right. They tried to, I don't remember where he went to college, but they tried to say, no, he was never at college here. Like, all this different stuff. They just tried to hide it. And things that he was saying were true. It would come out, like, 10 years later, a little bit of truth would come out. And it was like the way he words it is, like, a little bit of I told you so's would come out every, like, 10 years or so. But, like, what good does that do, you know? Because now it's been 30 years, and his life, I wouldn't say his life is ruined, but, like, dude, he has been silenced for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he went from being, like, a top-level scientist to being, like, a fucking laughingstock for sure.
It's crazy.
Like, for most of the time. Like, I think he's starting to be vindicated now, but for, like,
right.
Outside of the, like, I guess you put a truther circle, like, outside of that circle, he was, like, a laughingstock of the public, for sure.
And that's the thing, is, like, is that worth it?
No, I'd probably just keep my mouth shut and hope to get me a UFO eventually.
Same, right?
I mean, I would probably... Dude, if I was working at fucking Area 51 and I had access to that shit, like, I would at least wait till, like, I'm on my deathbed to put out, like, a full confession, I think. Now, call me a pussy if you will, dude, but, like...
Well, but that's the other thing, is, like, again, like, nothing is impossible here. So, like, even if you worked there your whole life and you're on your deathbed, what if, like, being on your deathbed just means that you're gonna, like, end up, like, you know, you just, like, that's the same as, like, a portal to another planet. Like, you just know all these things now, right? So it's like, okay, I'm on my deathbed, but that actually means, like, it's a portal to another planet, so I'm actually not going any... Like, I should still keep my fucking mouth shut.
Wait, you're trying to, are you telling me you're trying to imply that, like, if we die, we go to a fucking it's a portal to another?
I'm not saying I necessarily believe that. I am saying, yes, I am saying, like, if you worked at Area 51 and that was truth. What?
You believe that?
No, I'm saying I don't necessarily believe that. I'm saying if you worked at Area 51 and that's what you found out while working there, then like,
okay.
And then you end up on your deathbed. You're like, well, I'm still gonna keep my fucking mouth shut because I'm on my Earth deathbed, not wherever I go next.
Dude, yeah, man. Eternal punishment, hell. Where do you go? Probably.
It's rough.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like he has a pretty compelling case. I think he has a good argument. He's been consistent. Like, there's been a few inconsistencies. Like, I think you brought up the college thing, which there's some debate about, like, whether or not he actually, like, attended some of the colleges that he claimed to. But, like, besides that, like, he's been pretty, like, if you have to nitpick about where you...
Yeah, so I was going to say, how do you take the side that he's a liar? For devil's advocate reasons, like, how do you discredit him here? How would you discredit him? Because even, like, the college, like, I don't care, because that doesn't discredit the fact that he worked at Los Alamos. That doesn't discredit the fact that he worked at S4. That doesn't,
I mean, if I was going to discredit him, I guess the only thing I could really do is say that, I mean, he definitely made a push for a while to make, I wouldn't say like a ton of money out of his name, but he put out 3 movies himself. Like, he put out 3 films himself, if I'm not mistaken.
Bob Lazar? I think you're getting that confused with someone.
I'm almost positive, dude. I could be mistaken. And I know he worked really closely with a not investigate, like a journalist. I want to see if he put out films himself. Films? Because, I mean, that would be really the only thing I could say, because I don't really know what else.
Yeah, I would be interested in knowing if he ever
did. These are all from the new documentary that I know. I'm almost positive that's what, like, he put out a couple of films, but... Let's see what IMDb has to say. Does he pop up as, like, his own little personal? Yeah, here we go. Okay, all right. Let's look at Bob Lazar's IMDb.
Do it.
No, I don't want the IMDb app. Go fuck yourself. So he was in Unsolved Mysteries, which is cool, in '94. Yeah. 91, the Lazar tape and excerpts from the government Bible. That sounds pretty legit. I feel like that should be on my
yeah, I'd probably watch that for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be on my I'm gonna watch list. The producer, he produced, that is the one that he produced, was that documentary from 91.
Okay, because that's, so to be fair, I would say that's what, within the first year or two that he left S4 then?
Yeah, that would have been, if it was 89, yeah, that would be like a year or two later afterward. Yeah, that was right afterwards, and he was the host of that as well.
Yeah.
And then he did Unsolved Mysteries in 94, UFO Diaries in 95, Future Fantastic, which I'm not sure what the hell that is, in 96, Dreamland in 96, a movie in 97 called Area 51, The Alien Interview. George Knapp was the guy, the journalist he worked with a lot. George Knapp. Close Encounters.
Yep. George Knapp, yeah. George Knapp is actually, I think, one of the producers or executive producers on on that newer doc, the Bob Lazar
Mm-hmm.
one on Netflix.
So yeah, I mean, like, so there was like a film that he produced, but besides that, I thought there was 3, but I guess there's just that one. I mean, so I guess you could argue that.
Sure.
But
yeah, I think that was actually a lot of different films and stuff that he was in, like newly out.
Oh yeah,
like that's
there was
odd,
a shit
right?
ton.
Maybe he was
Yeah, I
just
mean,
younger and more brave, or
I don't know, man. Here's my thing, though.
mm-hmm.
If I am a whistleblower, right, dude,
Yeah.
and I have the government trying to, like, oh my God, what was that?
That was my whistleblowing.
That was a whistle, dude. That was the whistleblowing call. I love it. That was like, I'm sure the aliens love that, dude. When that makes it out into space,
oh man, they're gonna be cracking the fuck up.
They're gonna be losing it, dude. That's gonna be like their call. What if they attack Earth because of that? Like,
no, they wouldn't attack.
Okay,
Earth.
here's my thought, dude. That was like a place thing from Shakira. It was a call for the Illuminati.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know, man. Like, that's really the only way that I could. Besides that, I can't really argue too much. I mean, he's an Aquarius, which I feel like automatically, like, you know, casts some doubt on him. He's not very good at drawing.
Do you think aliens give a fuck about Gemini and Scorpio?
No, they don't even look the same to them, because our star symbols are just from, like, Earth. It's just kind of how we like our.
If we were like I come in peace, I'm a Gemini, and the aliens would be like, yeah, we call that fucking retarded. What?
Dude, can I tell you one of the biggest turnoffs to me in the entire world is, like, if I start talking to a female and like within the first 5 minutes, if she brings up star symbols and what they mean,
It
dude,
is so stupid.
Dude, I am instantly like, yeah, no, like, no, dude, we're good.
It's so stupid.
You can pay me back for that drink if you want. You can send me that. Like, I mean, can I get my roofie back out of your drink? Just drink the bottom of them.
Oh my God!
I actually meant that drink for the blonde down at the end.
Yeah, that's actually for me to get through this fucking conversation.
Right, I'm gonna need to switch to drinks real quick. If I was the one more fucking trait of an Aquarius, dude, I'm gonna blow like my brains out of the back of my skull, literally.
Christ.
So, yeah.
Hey, what do people even use now? Because, like, roofies don't exist anymore. So, like, what is it? Just GHB?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. I actually was talking to
asking for a friend. That's.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to my dad. Like, this was just like over the weekend, and he was saying something. You know, because like we work together on the weekend, so like we have to bring up like man stories. Because I mean, like, what else do you talk about as guys? And
right.
Just like guy humor stuff. So he was telling me, he's like, yeah, there used to be this drink. I can't remember what it is, and. He's like, but it was supposedly like an aphrodisiac, and I'm like, and he's like, it was cranberry and something. I'm like, was it cranberry and vodka? Because I'm pretty sure that works as an aphrodisiac.
Oh my God!
And he's like, no, dude. He's like, that's not it. And I'm like, well, we used to have this drink, man, and I forget what. Oh, I said I'm like it was called panty droppers, and I'm like, and all it was fucking orange juice, vodka, and a little bit of GHB. And I laughed really hard because I thought it was a funny joke. He had no idea what GHB was.
Oh
so
my God!
Yeah, I know, dude. It was such a funny joke, dude. Did not get it, dude. He did not get it. Like, and then I'm like, dude, it's like a roofie, and he's like, oh yeah, all right, that's great.
All right. Oh, fuck. I've actually never been around GHB.
No, I haven't either, but honestly, I would not be opposed to trying it, like, on myself, because it sounds pretty fun, like, in small doses.
From what I hear, it is. From what I hear, it's like as long as you do the right amount, you don't do too much, obviously, because that's very, very dangerous. But I hear about, like, people dosing themselves, and it's like, and it's a fun time, and there's, like, no hangover involved. There's, like, no withdrawal.
And then I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken on this because I'm not too familiar with that class of drugs, but I'm pretty sure it acts on the same receptor sites as alcohol does, actually. So it has similar effects to alcohol, if I'm not mistaken. So,
well, that's the other thing you hear about GHB is, like, do not mix it with alcohol.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. To me, honestly, like, if you have to use, like, date rape drugs to, like, get a girl to sleep with you, like, you're the scum of the earth.
Yeah, you're already a fucking piece of shit.
You're, like, the scum of the fucking earth, in my opinion. Like, jokes aside, fuck those guys. So,
yeah. There are times where why would I say there are times? There is, like, I would love to come across, like, witnessing someone doing that to someone's drink. Like, while someone goes to the bathroom, like, the guy, like, does whatever. I would not sit by silent at all.
No, dude, no. I would stand up, promptly take that drink and drink it myself.
And then I'd look him in the eye and I'd be like, you better have enough for my friends, too.
Right, exactly. That would be the best. Dude, that would be the best approach you could ever. What would you say, dude? Because, like, obviously that person knows what you did,
right?
And they literally just dose themselves, dude, on your drug. Like, what are you gonna say to that?
You should be terrified of that person that just chugged the drink in front of you.
Right. I mean, like, that's a rich, dude. Yeah, that's absolutely.
I like that.
Well, it's funny too because anytime I'm, like, at a party or something and, like, I don't drink anymore, but like I'll still, like, you know, like, go to places or, like, you know, like, be hanging out at, like, a bar and I'll eat my drink and I always make sure to, like, let people know, like, if you're gonna, like, dose my drink with something, please make it something good. Like, or I, like, will leave it around. I'm like, I'm hoping somebody will put something good. Like, all the time. I'm like, I'm just, like, because, like, people will say to you, like, you're just going to leave your drinks sitting there? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm hoping somebody will put something good in there.
I fucking hope so.
I'm hoping this is the hot blondes drink next to me, and just fucking, you know, sprinkle a little Rufalin in there or something. You know, real quick, and we'll get off of drugs, but I really want to try Quaaludes one day, dude. I feel like that would be such a fun drug. Like, I'm kind of sad that those are, like, pretty much gone out of existence.
Well, I was gonna say they're gone, and, like, if there's anything left, like, isn't there an expiration date or something?
Well, it's my understanding you can still get them. There's, like, one pharmaceutical company that makes them in South Africa.
So I know about the South Africa thing, but, like, no, I guess you're right. Like, I watched something Vice related. Yeah. My boy, dude. My boy Hamilton Morris. Hamilton?
Yeah, dude. He's a boy. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's, like, still there.
Yeah, man. Quaaludes would be because my dad had taken, because, I mean, like, he'd grown up in that time period, and not to incriminate, well, I guess we're anonymous, I can't really incriminate him, but, like, back in the day,
oh, no, I'm sure someone's already figured us out,
But he said that, dude, like, that was, like, the funnest thing ever was ludes. Like,
really?
He said that they were such a fucking blast. Yeah.
I can say that my dad has also done them, but I don't remember. I can't remember, like, in depth what he enjoyed them enough to do them time and time again. But
you know what else is really weird? But, like, I don't know if it was just, like, my dad's group of friends, but they like to, like, recreationally take, like, PCP and, like, not as, like, a crazy, like, eating people way. Like, they would just get fucked up on PCP. Like, that was, like, a common drug for people in their area to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because, like, that's just what was available, or?
I didn't know, dude, but, like, he loved PCP. I'm like, sure you're thinking, like, PCP? He's like, yeah, PCP. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm like, but I guess, like, I don't know. I mean, like, it would only make sense that if you did it in a low dose. I mean, it's not any different chemically than, like, ketamine or, like, that shit that we used to fucking drink in, like, Robitussin. I mean, it's the same chemical class as that.
Right,
so
right. Yeah, I think if you don't just, like, totally overdo it, then, like, you can probably
you probably don't want to, like, binge for, like, 14 days on PCP, or you will start eating people.
Right,
you know?
Right. Well, I would be less concerned about eating people because I feel like you'd have to be way off the rails. But I feel like it's a fine line between, like, just, like, having fun and shoving ice cubes up your butthole.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a line there, I would say.
I think it's a fine line. I think you're one hot day away from shoving ice cubes up your butthole on PCP.
But for some people, that's a good time. You know,
right?
I mean, for some people, that's like their thing. Probably. Yeah. I can't say that I've ever met somebody who's like, yeah, dude, my kink is just shoving ice cubes up my butt. I mean, I'd be like, all right, you know, cool, dog. Like, that's fine. Whatever. You do you.
That's your fucking thing, then.
I probably have some questions for him. Like, so how does this work exactly? Like, you just wait for them to melt, or do you poop them back out? Or...
Oh, see, I was going to say you put them in your mouth first to melt them a little bit to create that lubricant.
You'd have to, because if not, it would just stick instantly to your butthole.
It would stick, yeah, exactly.
And that wouldn't be good.
No, it would hurt.
I wouldn't think. Yeah, sure. There'd be some questions. That's all I'm saying. I would have some questions.
Yeah.
Unbiased, not like in a hurtful way, but all right. So here, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna tie these two things together: drugs and aliens.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure you're familiar with all the DMT bros out there, like the people who are like banging the fucking drum about DMT and how it's like this great, amazing thing.
Sure.
So there's like people doing legit studies, like not like fucking joke studies, but legit studies on basically whether or not, like, when you're under the influence of DMT, if you have contact with like interdimensional like beings.
Yeah. Well, how
do you feel on this? Where do you fall on that? Like, do you think it's just total bullshit and you're just fucked up on drugs, or do you think there's something more to it than that? And I would give you my opinion as somebody who's experienced it. I
think there's something more to that. I think there is something to that, but I think it's not necessarily sure, you could probably I'm trying to think, and also I'm searching something that I'm going to send to you. It's a story about a guy. It's a salvia story, but it's a story about a guy that same sort of thing. So I think there is something to that, because you would know this probably to the exact, is what's the percentage of your brain that we don't use?
Not very. Okay, so there's like this old wives' tale that we only use like 20% of our brain or something like that, and that's actually not entirely true. So we use all of our brain, or at least a vast majority of it.
Okay.
But we only use about 20% at a time, roughly. Like, we're not using all parts of our brains like simultaneously all the time, but we do use most, like a vast majority of our brain.
Interesting.
So, but I think I see where you're going with that. Is like, because the mind is an amazing thing. Like, we can create some unreal thing. I mean, like, like the fact that hallucinations exist, like things that we can create in our reality, that's only through our perception, through like our brain not functioning properly, is amazing. And like how complicated those hallucinations can get is amazing. I don't know. It's weird.
So that being said, I just think that, like, there's so many. So we have. How many dimensions? Like, what's the...
It depends on who you ask. Anywhere between, like, 11 and 13.
Right. So I just feel like you probably unlock something to be able to see, like, a little bit more, is all.
Here's the whole thing, dude. Like, even, like, when it comes to, like, ghosts, like, I tell people all the time, like, I do not believe in ghosts. Like, I do not. Now, that's not to say that I don't believe something is happening, because obviously it is. There's enough people with experiences, enough sane, rational people that have had unexplainable experiences that must be something going on. But, dude, I think it is much more likely that those people are experiencing, like, these interdimensional beings that, like, we can't experience all the time, but maybe sometimes when our realities or our dimensions rub together just the right way, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Kind of. I think that's much more likely than the spirit of your fucking grandma walking around the attic, right? Like, I think that's much more likely of a solution to what that is than our spirits just kicking it on Earth, like, what up? Not going anywhere, just hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a much more likely solution to what these paranormal experiences. I mean, let's just say, like, the alien experiences, or, like, the phenomena of UFOs and aliens and things like that. Like, let's just say that's not explainable by the same thing. Like, it makes a lot more sense to me that aliens could travel through dimensions than travel literally millions and billions of light years across the galaxy to come see Earth and say what up and not do anything and fly back. That makes a lot less sense to me than aliens in another dimension could travel here. Because if they have that ability, then, you know what I mean? Like, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, well, I see... Yeah, so yes, because I think it's stupid to think that they would have to travel that far, right? I think that they have the capability of skipping a lot of mileage, you know, to sum it up.
Right, because, I mean, they would have to travel... I mean, because, like, we can see, I mean, it's a very minute amount of our universe, but still, we have a pretty good grasp nowadays on things that are happening, like, even thousands.
Dude, behind the sun. Like, so that's the craziest thing, is like, we have a microscope that can see planets that are behind the sun, because light bends around the sun, therefore the vision bends around the sun because of the gravitational pull. That's fucking insane. But that's also kind of how these spacecrafts are moving. They you know, so like here on Earth, the whole propulsion type of thing, it has to do with like we like our vehicles spit shit out the back.
Right. Like,
where
fuel
that's
power,
right, and that's not what these UFOs
like
are doing. These UFOs, the way that Bob Lazar explained the one that he was working on was like the best. He said the best I can explain it is it's like putting a bowling ball on a mattress, and then you push down in front of that mattress, so you distort the gravity in front of it, and that's how. That's insane. So you distort the gravity in front of you, and
if that's true. If that is true, that is insane. Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, obviously, like, you would have to be moving faster than the speed of light, which is technically possible. People say it's not, but I mean, look at quantum entanglement. Like, we know that, like, two electrons, like, when they're entangled at the quantum level, like, you know, like, can make changes that are faster than the speed of light. Like, we know that is possible to happen now. We don't understand why or how it happens, but we know it does.
Yeah.
So, like, we know that Einstein was wrong about, like, the fastest that we can move in the universe is, like, the speed of light. So I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying, like, okay, so to what end? Like, to what end are the aliens coming? Because there's a lot of theories as to, like, why aliens would even be coming here to begin with. What is your opinion on that? Like, to what end are they, like, are they coming just to check things out? Are they coming because they want to take us over? Are they
no, I think they've either known about us all along or kind of, for lack of a better word, like, kind of, I don't want to say controlling us, but, like I think that they have a better view of what we're building than what we even know what we're building from like a technological standpoint. Like we are constantly like working so hard to get the next best thing, and we don't even know why. Like, you know what I mean? Like not me maybe not personally, because I'm a fucking lazy piece of shit, but like I don't have an iPhone. But so many people work their ass off to get the next new iPhone year after year. For what fucking reason?
Yeah.
We are striving to constantly be better and better and better. And like, for what? Like, so like we are figuring out all these, like we just choose to go to a grocery store instead of like farm in our backyards. Like,
but that's hard as fuck, dude. I'm not trying to farm some shit.
It's not that hard.
I'm not farming.
Okay.
I don't got farmer's hands.
Well, there you go.
Do it.
It's just like, what I'm saying is like we're worker bees. And there's some there's some sort of honey that they're interested in.
Oh, they're out for our honey.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, dude.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I don't know. That sounds like a bad thing to me, dude. I don't want aliens in after my honey, personally.
Well, you don't even know what your honey will do.
Well, I don't know what it would be, but I still know I don't want them to have it.
See? Well, then that we're going to be stuck in this situation for a while.
How do you feel about Ancient Aliens? Are you on board with all that shit?
Like, what do you mean? Like, just the series, or?
No, I mean, like, the whole idea that, like, you know, aliens helped, like, guide, like,
kind of, yeah.
Like, guide our way, I guess. Like, they gave us technology and built the pyramids and, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, absolutely. Again, that also falls in line with this whole worker bee thing, right? So, like, we have beekeepers that kind of help those bees get started.
So you think we were planted here?
A little bit, yeah.
Spermagenesis.
Huh?
I think that's what they call it, is spermagenesis. The idea that, like, we were, like, planted here by, like, aliens. If I'm not mistaken. I know that's a funny word, but I'm pretty sure that's what they call it. Spermagenesis.
Well, I mean, that might be, yeah. I mean, if that's the word, that's the word. But yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me. Hey, give me 2 seconds here, okay? There we go. Good to go.
You all right?
Yeah, I had to turn my car off because I had, like, 8 miles left of gas.
Oh, yeah, dude. Don't run your car. Fuck. Yeah, that's so good.
But yeah, that's what I think, for sure. I just, like, because, like, again, we just constantly strive to try and think about our purpose here. What's our purpose? We don't fucking know, and, like, we won't know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does raise some existential like when we start thinking about other creatures in the universe in general, like, I mean, they can definitely raise this, like, existential questions about, like, our own purpose in the universe.
But that's the thing. One thing is for sure. We, you know, if you look at, like, the chunks of, like, human time, right? Like, look at it in, like, even 50-year spans. Like, you could start at 50-year spans, and then in the past 100 years, look at it in 10-year spans. Like, our technology has advanced like fucking crazy.
Panspermia, motherfucker. That's what it's called, panspermia. I knew there was sperm in there, dude. I knew there was sperm in the title. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, like, our technology has advanced like crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure, and it's going to continue to at an exponential rate,
Mm-hmm.
dude. Like, yeah, for sure.
That's a good point. Is me asking you, what is your thought on the theory that aliens are kind of future us?
Our future us.
Yeah.
Um.
So to make more sense of that is like we as a human population now, we're not built the same as we were 100 years ago, right? Like we're not building houses like the Amish do today. Like we have technology to help us out because we figured it out. And 100 years from now, like we'll probably be even scrawnier because it's not needed anymore, you know?
Right. And okay, so here's what I think about that. I think that realistically, any advanced race that sees themselves like branching out into the universe, because like realistically, if we're going to make it as a species, we have to survive beyond this planet, because this planet is not going to be sustainable forever, right? Like that's not going to happen.
Right.
We need to start harvesting energy from elsewhere. And that's when that's where like the whole Kershak scale or Kershak, whatever it is, scale, where they talk about like the different like types of like possible beings in the universe and like you know like how technologically advanced they are. I think that it would only make sense that any species that is going to live for like thousands and thousands and thousands of years would come to realize that the most sustainable option is going to be like putting themselves like into technology, like I'm not talking like just straight robot metal bodies, but like realistically, if we were visited by an advanced species, it would probably not be a biological species. It would probably be they have downloaded all their information, their consciousness, their data into machines at that point, because that would only make sense, like realistically. So I'm like that's why I don't even know if I subscribe to the whole like little gray men, little gray, big-headed, big-eyed sons of bitches dude came in my window last night, because like I think if we were going to be visited by those kind of beings, like they would have to, in our universe at least, if we're like throwing aside the whole like interdimensional being like idea, in our universe they would probably be inorganic beings.
Right, but what do you think that would even look like?
Like, I wouldn't even say like a computer, because realistically, like, they could be so small, like, because, I mean, like, think about, like, how small we are being able to contain smaller and smaller amounts of data. I forget who said this, but there's a scientist that said, like, if there's aliens, they could be so small, they could be zooming around in front of us right now, because, like, we've learned to contain data in such smaller and smaller. And I mean, like, the smaller you make things, the less energy you need, which ultimately the whole universe is about conserving energy, right? Like how we use our energy, how we spend energy. That's what it's all about. It's conserving and using energy. So, like, it would only make sense to, you know, make things smaller and smaller. I mean, I think, like, it would be, you know, tiny little, like, robot people. Maybe not like robots, like Futurama style, but, like, they would be...
Right, I know.
Or maybe like the monolith from Space Odyssey. What's that movie, like 2010 Space Odyssey?
I gotta say, though, like the idea of like a microscopic, like that is what aliens are, like at a microscopic level is like super not pleasing.
You don't like that, dude? Microscopic Alien?
No.
That's my new band name, dude, is Microscopic Alien.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Dude, I mean, like, literally, I feel like they're just watching me. They're, like, watching me poop. Watching me drink it, dude. Like, they know my deepest secret.
So, coronavirus is just aliens?
Could be.
Son of a bitch.
I'm saying we shouldn't throw it out, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Not a fan of it, just because it's less exciting, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I mean, realistically, I think that. I mean, I don't know if that would be. I mean, that's just like theories, but like I said, I don't think it would be organic beings like we think about. Like that does not make sense.
No,
to me.
well,
like,
I don't think organic, but I do think like some sort of like is cyborg even the right word? Like there's definitely
they would take like a humanoid figure. Is what you're saying? Like a
yeah. Well, depends. I think they'll have the ability to not morph, but like you're saying, like it's all kind of in the cloud, you know. So they can. There's different shells that they can kind of install themselves into. So if they want to walk around on Earth, they, you know, I'm sure they already are.
Or if they don't want to, like, scare the living shit out of us, they just dress up as humans. That's essentially what you're saying.
How does that scare the shit
like,
out of us?
Like, if I'm coming to Earth and I don't want to, like, totally terrify the people that I'm about
if they
to visit.
don't want to scare the... Yes, yeah. Well, because that's the other thing is, like, did you ever hear the story about, and I'm sure you have, like, we were doing tests on our just nuclear weapons, and we sent a warhead up, and a UFO like zapped it from like all four sides, and just like rendered it dull. Right?
No, not at all. No, I have not heard this story.
You haven't?
No, give me some deets on this. When did this happen? Where did it happen?
So there's a documentary, another one on Netflix called Unacknowledged, I believe. And so this documentary has, you probably know the name, Dr. Stephen Greer.
I am familiar with this one. Yes, yeah. I'm familiar with him, very much. Yeah.
So in this documentary, they go over this case where they're testing just their nuclear, I believe it was America, testing nuclear weapons, and they sent up a warhead. And while it's shooting up, this UFO, you see this laser zap the warhead from the left side. All of a sudden, not that they showed.
It's like a recreation.
Yeah, I'm led to believe it's a recreation.
Okay.
But I have heard this story prior to seeing this on the documentary. Not that proves a fucking thing. So zaps it from one side, all of a sudden this UFO appears on the other side, zaps it from the other side, all of a sudden it appears above it, zaps it from on top, all of a sudden it appears on the bottom, zaps it from the bottom. This thing's fucking dull. It's a dud. And
it's a stinker.
Someone, yeah, so like one of the captains or whatever, like, says to whoever, like, sent it up, like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what happened? Like, and like what
Why
was
my
that?
nuke working?
Yeah, what was that? What happened? And they're like, sir, I believe that was a UFO. Like, and so the theory from that is again one that's those are future us, and then
just like, hey, try not to blow yourself out of existence.
Exactly.
And like toddlers.
Yeah. And also number two is that, like, they, like, just from those zaps, like they stole the energy in terms of, like, not necessarily stealing the energy from it, but, like, to do their own tests on what the fuck we're working with. And number three, it's because that they don't like how hostile we are.
They're a bunch of fucking babies, dude. They're a bunch of babies. They're a bunch of snowflakes.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, dude, they're never, like, I mean, I'm sure our governments have already, like, I'm sure there's already been meetings or something, you know, but, like, there's no way they would come and meet the general public because of the perception of it. Like, dude, people would shoot on sight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what they look like, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, if, like, an alien rolls up in my backyard Like,
Right.
UFO comes down.
Well, your whole
right?
thing is like, if it's smoking a cigarette, I'll go out there and smoke a cigarette.
Well, yeah, dude, I mean, if it's a werewolf creature, then yeah, I will, sure. But no, man, I mean, like, if they come up, rolling up, look, tentacles flying, ghoulish faces, dude, then I'm probably going to shoot them. But if they come up, like, in, like, supermodel bodies, dude, I'm probably not going to shoot them. Like, I think they just need to be
supermodel bodies. You're probably not thinking that they're alien. Well, maybe you are. You're like, what the fuck are you doing in my town?
Well, at that point in it, too, because we already got over that I would bang an alien. Like, that's already fucking... I'm just saying, like, they should be a little wiser as to how they present themselves. Like, coming in, like, big gray head, googly eyes, like, of course people are going to be scared shitless. But if they come up as, like, smoking babe or smoking dude, depending on whose house they're rolling up to, you know what I mean? Like, then, just saying.
Yeah, right, but then only when they're face to face, they're like, "Hey, I'm an alien."
Would you like to copulate with me? And I would say, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think they could be a little, like, if they're going to come all, and that's the same thing, too. Why the fuck are they crashing all over the place, dude? Like, if they have the technology.
Yeah, see, the crashing is weird, right?
Technology to fly, like, across the fucking
But so
universe.
also that's why I believe, like, that's also why I think that this crashing shit's not crashing. Like, that's also why I think, like Bob Lazar, like, at S4, like, unbeknownst to him, like, he is working with Barry, an alien. Like, I think, like,
What about Roswell?
What about Roswell?
Is it legit? Did it crash? Well, we can talk more about Roswell on another episode, because I know we're getting there. But like, what do you think? I mean, like, did it crash or no? Weather balloon, swamp gas, or UFO?
Probably a UFO. Like, I don't want to say that, like, them crashing is, like, impossible. But also,
yeah, I mean, it could be a couple of teenagers took the UFO out for a spin. They're having a few adult alien beverages, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go see Earth," and
totally possible. Yeah, exactly. Right. And you got to think. So, like, that's another, and maybe we'll end it on this because it's but that's another great thing that Bob Lazar talked about is, like, it's not necessarily that these aliens are that much more advanced than us. It's just that where we started out, and obviously everything's a theory here, but where we started out with, like, steam engines and that sort of thing, like, maybe these aliens started out with only this element 115. Like, if that's where you started out, that's where you started out. Like, we can't.
So they're still fuckheads. They're just like they have to have a cool element.
Exactly.
They're no less fuckheads than we are.
Correct.
Like, there's two aliens somewhere on a planet making a pod just fucking around, dude, and they're like, these idiots. You think the Earth people really exist?
Well, the same,
talk about going to crazy planet, dude.
So the same way that you and I have we have no access to a rocket ship, to a spaceship, right? I have no doubt that there's also aliens out there from these planets where these spaceships are coming from, where there are aliens that also don't have access to that, to just go, like, I don't think that the whole population is just, like, zooming around and can come here whenever the fuck they want. I think it's also limited. I think that is an understood thing between our government and whatever their government is. I do.
Yeah. They're like, listen, we're gonna take it sometimes, and
I think they're like, we need to make sure Hillary doesn't get in office because she's all about this fucking.
Poor Bernie, dude. They They must have something against poor Byrne, dude. The Byrne Bros are not like happy right now, dude. The DNC is fucking that dude up.
Weird, yeah. I mean, we should also save that one for a politics round 2. You know, because this is
sure, absolutely. But yeah, so I'd say when it's all said and done, do aliens exist? Yeah. Would we bang them? Yeah. Should you roofie people? No. Do not get people roofies. Yeah, no, not cool.
No, don't do that.
Should you take whalers given the opportunity if you find yourself in South Africa? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Sure.
But know your surroundings first.
Yeah, use your better judgment. Let's say that.
But then,
use
yes,
better judgment.
See if you could buy them and take them to an undisclosed location, right? And if not, if you have to take it in front of them, then
take a lot.
Yeah. Take
a lot
two.
and take often.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then, like, fuck it.
So, yeah, I think that's what we learned today. Bob Lazar was a hero. I feel like you got a little bit of a man boner for Bob Lazar. I think we need to start making some WWBLD shirts.
WWBLD. See, I don't. It's not necessarily a man boner for Bob Lazar as much as it is that he seems to be the most level-headed. Right?
I agree. I totally think, like, of all the cases you could make for, like, somebody being legit, like,
it is so hard to watch, like, different, or not hard. It's difficult to decipher who's telling the truth and who isn't on a lot of, like, just different alien documentaries as a whole.
Well, yeah, dude, I feel like another thing real quick I don't understand is, like, if aliens are coming here, like, why is it that they always land in, like, the biggest hillbilly's backyard? Like, they can't come up to, it's always some guy like, I saw them aliens and they were up in the trees.
Exactly. Who the fuck's gonna believe that nuthead?
Exactly, dude. Why can't they just, like, land in, like, you know, somebody legit's backyard? Like, right. I don't get it. They always find, like, the most, like, crack-headed ass people, dude, that they come to. And I don't know, man. But, yeah, I think that's what we can settle today is that we know they're out there and we just don't know why. And, you know, we hope they're hot and they might not be. They might have testicles. They might be microscopic. I feel like,
I honestly, I'm not fearful of them, for whatever that's worth.
No, I don't want. No, I mean, like, at this point, I feel like if they wanted to, like, if they had the technology and they wanted to wipe us out, dude, they would have done so already. If they've been coming for this long and they have the technology, there's no reason they wouldn't have just fucking wiped us out. The fucking, I was going to say the face of the earth, but, like, the face of existence, I guess. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, again, that goes back to the reason I think they haven't is because we're making their honey.
Panspermia.
Yeah, something sperm.
Yeah, sperm stuff.
We are their sperm stuff, making their honey.
Dude, we are their star stuff. We're all made of star stuff, as Carl Sagan said.
It's true.
We are all star stuff, dude. And I think that's how we should all remember that on this great day.
Long live Carl Sagan. And with that, I am Jake.
I am Mike, and just peace, bitches.
Yes, please rate, review, comment, all that stuff. And email us and follow us on the Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, dude, the old Twitter. SWYSWOL. I don't know.
That's not it. That's not it. It is at SYWSOL.
Yes, yeah. SYWSOL. If I chant it like I'm starting a ritual, I can do it.
Yeah,
that's the only way.
Same. That's how I remember it. Is when I chant say it. SYWSOL.
SYWSOL.
All right.
Great. All right.
Peace out, bitches.
See you soon. Until next week.
Till next week. Fuck off.
Later.